Hey guys, I'm here to talk to you about a fabulous book called Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. The genre is a romantic novel and realistic fiction. Mrs. Meyer next door recommended the book to me, and it also got a great review on the New York Times, so that's why I chose to read it. To give you a bit of background information about the book starts off with one of the main characters named Will, who is a really wealthy executive living in London. He says goodbye to his girlfriend and leaves his house to go to work in the rain, and he gets in a horrible accident that actually forces him to become a quadriplegic. We then quickly move 2 years later to meeting the heroine of the story, the other main character named Lou, who becomes Will's caregiver, and a relationship between them ensues. I really like the book so far, and some of the main things that I like about the book are the character development, the author's choice of how to narrate the book, and the prologue, which sort of serves as a hook for the whole story. The reason why I like the character development is because the section that I read so far that really travels with the main character, Lou, is painting a picture of a really realistic woman who has flaws and insecurities, just like a real person would. The author doesn't just tell you what they are, you have to infer them for yourself, and I can relate to a more realistic character where everything in life isn't perfect for her. The narration choice of the book I think is really interesting because now I'm at a section where instead of Lou being the narrator is Will's mother. And what I've noticed about the book is that the narration, because I looked a little bit ahead, the narration is going to change every so often, and it's going to be about everybody but Will, who has this disability, and it's going to give us multiple perspectives on this main conflict about how someone's going to struggle with this disability, which I thought was a really cool way to kind of tell somebody's story. It's basically everybody else telling the story for this person. The last thing that I really like is the prologue, which is just a couple pages. It really hooks the reader in because it paints a picture of one kind of story and then it really just turns on a dime and something totally different is about to happen. So I'm going to read you the end of the prologue to see kind of how engaging the writing is so that you can kind of get a picture of it for yourself. So, like I said, the book starts out in London where Will, the main character, is on his way to work. He's out in the rain in London trying to catch a cab, and he says the narrator says the following. So, he glances up at the screeching sound, the rude blare of a horn. He sees the side of the glossy black taxi in front of him, the driver already winding down his window, and at the edge of his field of vision, something he can't quite make out, something coming toward him at an impossible speed. He turns towards it, and in that split second he realizes that he's in its path, that there's no way he's going to be able to get out of its way. His hand opens in surprise, letting the BlackBerry fall to the ground. He hears a shout which may be his own. The last thing he sees is a leather glove, a face under a helmet, the shock in the man's eyes mirroring his own. There's an explosion as everything fragments, and then there's nothing. So if you're looking for a real page-turner, a book with some potential romance that might really tug at your heartstrings, I definitely suggest you read this book. And also if you want to learn more about what life might be like with a disability, I would recommend it to you then as well. I think the best way to kind of leave this book talk to get you to try to read the book is by reading a question on the back of the book which says, "What do you do when making the person you love happy also means breaking your own heart?" If you want to find out, read Me Before You by Jojo Moyes.